What's up, you guys? It's me, lgslli, and we are gonna be playing the lie she believed, or her lie I believed, or something like. Oh, I already forgot the title. But her lie I tried to believe. Okay, yeah, that's what it's called. The writer and the director is like, here's the little credits for you guys, so you know who made this, the sprites, blah blah. Just to give credit where credit's due. I've been sitting here trying to figure out if the sound was good or not, and I think I found a middle ground where everything sounds okay. But as I was doing it, there's this weird, eerie sound in the back. Wait, hold on. Is this? Was this always right here? Like, this paper's getting darker. I don't remember. Is that? Has this always been here? I can't remember if it's the music that's. Well, whatever. We're gonna start her lie I tried to believe. I kind of want to wait till the music restarts, just to see something. But yeah, I have this stuff at this thing. I'm playing on windowed right now. You can save in this game. That's great. I mean, as all games. Okay, this is getting too weird. Let's just start this game now. Oh, I wonder why I didn't notice it at the time. The meaning behind it all of it. I'm sorry, I'm like starting crazy. Okay, Elias, just shut up. Watch. Now that I do understand it, I can say with certainty that my life would have been completely different if I'd have seen through it sooner. Was I too sensitive? Maybe I simply didn't want to understand. I don't know if I'm a female or male yet. I know nothing about this game because I downloaded it like a whole year ago and never played it. No matter, maybe you will see the truth where I couldn't. Shoot, I probably downloaded this way earlier than not earlier, but way later than a year ago. So I have no idea if I'm a boy or a girl. Oh, okay, so we got this stuff at the end. It all started in elementary school. Okay, I have to click, okay. Not middle school or high school, but elementary school. Just to give an idea of how long she's been tormenting me. Yes, a girl. It's always been about a girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys? No, it had to be. Okay, so I'm a boy. Alright, I'm gonna make my voice a little bit more gruff. Alright. Yes, a girl. It's always been a girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys. No, it had to be a girl. And I apologize if my voice acting is a little bit terrible. I haven't done it in a while. Fuck. I can't exactly give a specific time for when this happened. I guess it just kind of turned out that way. The moment I laid my eyes on her, I knew I would hate her. She was tall, well, not tall, but still taller than me back then. You know how it goes. Her hair was not very long. Boyish would probably be a good way to describe it, but then again, this was pretty common during elementary school years. Her strength must have been similar to mine even. Her features resembled those of most of the girls. She wasn't special, that's for sure. She had brown eyes and black hair. A cute little girl, and it stopped at that. Just that. Still, there was one thing, one indescribably small thing that separated her from the rest of those pure girls. Her eyes. What the fuck? Is this moving down a little bit? Am I tripping? Oh, it is moving down. It's weird. There was something about them. I'm not talking about twinkles or anything of the sort. I'm talking about something darker, too. Oh, something darker. Something that does. I can't read, I'm sorry, guys. Something that doesn't belong to a kid, but she hid it. Or at least she tried to, and it worked with most people, but not with me. I wonder if she saw the same thing in my eyes. Maybe that's why I felt so much contempt for her. Maybe that's why she answered that contempt with some unknown feelings of her own. I don't know how it happened. Did she provoke me first? Or was I the one pushing this perception of us as the sole foundation of our relationship? The fact that we were rivals. I think it all started because she beat me at running. She beat me at pretty much everything, really. But I think running was something much more perceivable, and that's why it weighed so heavily on my mind. Beaten by a girl? And it wasn't as if she had a talent for running or anything. I was simply that mediocre of a runner, and that was that. To be honest, I probably would have been fine with it if it hadn't been for that annoying smile. That smile, always teasing me so brightly, and it wasn't that attractive either. I mean, more often than not, she was missing some baby teeth due to growth. But once again, I don't completely remember why she started doing it, but every time she won a race against me in PE, she would look at me with that smile and say, "Better luck next time, Tim." I sounded like older than that. Okay, whatever. I'll work on it. Okay, for me at the time, there was no greatest insults for a boy who was trying to fuck, I can't speak. For a boy who was trying to differentiate himself. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it so wrong. Differentiate himself from the others in an environment such as elementary school, being beaten and laughed at by a girl. There's no way I could not take it personally. I'm sorry, I gotta break this bit up. So I kind of made it my life's mission to beat her every opportunity I could get. Okay. Before we go on a little bit further with this guy's monologue, this game gave me a disclaimer saying that it goes on some tough subjects. I have no idea what subjects those are, but just a fair trigger warning and a fair disclaimer. Please be alert on these subjects, and if you can't handle them, exit out this video. I don't want to cause anybody any kind of panic attacks or PTSD or anything like that. They also made a disclaimer saying that all these characters are 18, so I'm a little bit scared on what's gonna happen. But anyway, let's press on. But sadly for me, I was just an average boy. And although she was also just an average girl, she was still slightly better than I was. In fact, I think it was simply a game for her, something to put a smile on her face, or to feel proud about. Seeing me failing and looking so irritated by that, she might have thought I was having fun somehow. It was only when winter came that she understood the full depth of my feelings. We were playing King of the Hill on a snowy hillock with a couple of other kids. I say we, but we weren't really friends, or anything, or even acquainted for that matter. We knew each other's names, and that was pretty much it. Maybe what came next made it even more of an impact because of that. Because no one was really playing aggressively, we were just kind of pushing each other off the top of the mountain to claim it our own. But when I saw her, that girl with that smile, climb the mountain trying to take even this fleeting achievement from me, I kind of snapped. I remember thinking, this is mine, she won't take it away from me. And she didn't. She didn't, because I grabbed her with every ounce of strength I could muster and threw her to the bottom of the hill, directly onto the hard ground. It must have hurt. It must have hurt really bad, but this simply didn't register for me. I was completely euphoric over the idea that I had protected what was mine, that I had finally beaten her at something. I guess our strengths were really no match after all. But for some reason, the other kids were all attending to her with worries in their eyes. Finally, I understood that I have done something wrong. Their reproachful glares told me so, yet I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel as if I was in the wrong here. I mean, this girl had been tormenting me, humiliating me for so long, so why should I be the one apologizing? Like hell I would. How could outsiders possibly understand how I felt anyway? Finally, the girl, Cassandra, got to her feet painfully. She didn't cry. She didn't try to elicit? Did I say that right? Elicit any compassion from those around her. No, she just looked at me. Looked at me with those eyes. That's when I knew she finally understood my feelings. That's when I knew she finally started hating me. Oh shit! She became serious. The rivalry I thought we had was nothing more than normality to her. So by seriously trying to beat me at everything, she became one of, if not the best student in our class. How ironic to think she had really how ironic to think that she had never really taken me seriously before. To think that my desperation to beat her at something had, in reality, only helped her in bringing forth her true potential. Sure, I eventually became better too, but because she finally reciprocated my hatred, but still, in the end, she always had the last word. Her smile changed to the one faint but noticeable the once faint but noticeable warmth no longer emanated from it. Emanated from it. It was cold, like the thing I thought I had once seen in her eyes. She finally looked at me the way I had always looked at her. I guess I had opened her eyes and she saw me for who I truly was. I didn't feel bad about it. At least I thought I didn't. If I had any feelings back then, they were probably numbed by this overbearing thing we call ego. Oh my god, my voice cannot take this. She also stopped saying her usual line when she beat me. She did continue to say something alright, but it was no longer that annoying line. Instead, it was something like, "Are you even trying?" And she said it as often as she could. She no longer said it when we were simply competing against each other at running, but also when we received our report cards and even during games of chance. My elementary school life ended with an extreme bitter aftertaste. I had become the laughing stock of my class, and I somehow had helped Cassandra become even better than she already was. They did not need to put this I right here. I'm sorry. Little English critic here. Grammar Nazi. A complete defeat indeed. But there would be... Can you guys see this mouse? I don't know if you guys can. But there would be other chances for me to prove my worth. I knew there would. A chance to crush her, that is. Middle school brought some changes with it. Well, not right away, but in the second part of the first year for sure. I became taller, or maybe she became shorter. I don't know. Since she was the only person I ever really looked at, she more or less became my sole reference when it came to any kind of physical change. I could hardly believe it, yet it was something anyone could have predicted. Me becoming taller than her. For some unknown reason, we still ended up in the same class. By chance, we chose the same program. Disgustingly enough, our hatred toward each other was still much more real. So it was like we simply picked things up from where we had left them at elementary school. Her hair was longer now. Little by little, her body started to take shape in ways which made it very difficult to view her as the kid she had been only a few years ago. Even I could see how beautiful she was becoming, yet somehow I was still repulsed by her. So similarly, I changed drastically too. I became taller and I gained some mass along the way. Once again, I was still very much an average guy, but I tried my best to keep my body in shape in order to eventually win against her. And it paid off. Then again, it could have simply been a result of my obvious changes, but in any case, I finally started to gain the upper hand, at least during PE and other physical competitions. I was no longer chasing her. Now she was the one chasing me. Can you at least show a little bit of determination? That was my line. What a joke, really. I couldn't even think of anything clever to say, so I just stole her line and made it my own. I didn't stop at that. I wanted my back to be as far away in front of her as it could possibly be. So I started playing basketball to build up stamina and to keep my body in good shape. In no time at all, I became somewhat popular, though I didn't really think that I was any good. It was just that my entire team was bad, that's all. Anyway, popularity didn't interest me. My eyes were still very much locked on her at all times. Sure, I played the card of being the cool kid, faking it to enjoy everyone's eyes on me, but that was just another way to get back at her. Cassandra. Even her name makes me shudder. She has been popular in elementary school. Okay, hold on. So I guess he still hates her by the way he's talking. She had been popular in elementary school, but now she had become kind of gloomy and reclusive. Look at how happy I've become and envy me. That was how I tried to act in front of her. That was how I wanted to make her feel whenever she saw me. But no matter how much space this irritating smile took up on my face, no matter my accomplishments, she never once looked at me. That's when I realized that she had lost all interest in our rivalry. It was only natural. I mean, she no longer had any chance against me when it came to physical performance. So I decided to shift gears. If I wanted to take everything away from her, I would need to build up not only my body, but also my mind. To think that bitch is ignoring me like that, I'll make her understand just how much she's made me suffer. It took me a long time to improve my grades, a long time indeed. It was all but natural to me. In the end, I had no other choice but to drop out of the basketball team to focus on my studies. As middle school ended, it still felt as if she was one step ahead of me, and if it wasn't actually the case, she sure acted like it was. She had stopped teasing me, stopped looking proud of her achievements, stopped looking at me altogether. It was as if snubbing me was her new way of getting back at me for everything. That glimpse of darkness I had once seen in her eyes was now the only thing perceivable in her features. High school finally came, but luck was not on my side this time around. We no longer had any classes in common, unfortunately enough. Luck? Unfortunately? I wonder why I looked at it this way. Probably because tormenting her gave me so much satisfaction. Dude, this guy's kind of a dick when you think about it. Like, he kind of just... I'm sorry. Pause. He kind of like made up this rivalry in his head first and kind of assumed she was being a bitch. And I'm kind of starting to realize that maybe she just thought of him as a friend and it kind of went down south because this guy's insecure. But maybe she was being a bitch too. I don't know. But this guy kind of sounds like a dick now. Like, tormenting her made him satisfied. I don't know how I feel about that. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Anyways, it didn't matter though. I could still compete with her in the midterm exams and the like. All I needed to do was to keep on studying until I inevitably. Okay, I apologize for mispronouncing a lot of these words. Until I inevitably beat her at her own game, or at least that's how my logic went. My popularity had already deteriorated almost to the point where it could be called non-existent. But there were still girls that confessed their love to me from time to time. Wait, why does that matter? I always turned them down though. If I had also, guys, there's a extended edition of this game that I saw when I re-downloaded this on Steam. Didn't download that, didn't buy it because it was like $6 and I am broke, so I'm sorry. This is not the extended edition. This is the one I got for free. Anyways, just wanted to clarify that. I always turned them down though. If I had time to mess around with girls, I probably had time to study even harder. In any case, that's how I tried to keep myself focused. So you'll understand why I felt pretty stupid when I first saw her with the boy. Until then, she hadn't seemed to show any interest in the opposite sex. I wonder why it changed, now of all times. Sure, she was quite good looking. She had become a lot more feminine than she used to be. No wonder she was popular with the boys, but because I'd been watching her for so long, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I mean, why now of all times? I was mad. I was disappointed. I felt humiliated. So does that mean she doesn't need to study as much as I do to beat me? Is that what she's trying to convey here? This dude is a dick! Oh my god! Okay, he's not a dick, but he's like misinterpreting everything. Oh my god. This made me put even more effort into my studies. It's not going to go your way this time around, that's for sure. I was convinced I could crush her during midterms, so you can imagine my surprise when I actually did. The grades of the top 50 students were displayed on the sheet of paper in the main hall of the school. Usually she was positioned in the top 5 and I was in the top 10, but this time it was the other way around. How could this be? I was angry. I should have been overjoyed, but I wasn't. How could I be? It wasn't supposed to be this way. The margin between the two of us was way too large. It was simply impossible. I remember how right then and there I looked around me really pissed off. That's when our eyes met. For the first time in at least a year and a half, our eyes found each other so naturally. And whereas mine was extremely cold, hers were as passionate as ever, as if she has not changed at all in those years. She even smiled at me, disgustingly so. I walk up to her, unable to keep my cool. What's wrong with you? I blurted out as if there was intimacy in our I blurted out as if there was intimacy in our relationship, when in reality it was the first time I had spoken to her since middle school. Oh, excuse me? She said to me, trying to look as if she didn't know the reason for my forceful approach. She didn't! I don't think she does! What a great actress she is, as if my sudden outburst is somehow unwarranted. Is this because of your new boyfriend? Is this jealousy I hear? Oh, no, guys, cut that out. I'm gonna read it. Is this jealousy I hear? I don't know what kind of voice that's getting right. She kind of sounds like a little soft-spoken girl. She's doing it on purpose. Don't fuck with me. Whoa! What time is it, yo? When is he getting back home? Okay, we got some time. I take a hold of her collar aggressively and look at her directly in her eye. Whispers started reaching my ears from those around us about how I'm going to hit her, about how scary I look, and about how someone should stand up to me or something, yet she doesn't look scared at all. She reciprocates my stare and simply waits for my words. What is it with those grades, eh? Ew. What is it with those grades, huh? Are you not taking it seriously anymore, now that you have a boyfriend? Is that it? My grades? So all of this is just because of my grades? Her eyes become stern. The inoffensive smile she once had on her face disappears viciously. Tell me why? Why is it? Why is she changing all of a sudden? This shouldn't happen. I won't let it happen. Why, you ask? I don't know. I just lost interest, that's all. I'm sorry, I sound so cringy right now. Don't give me that shit. I know you... You know what? She punches me upon hearing my words. I lose the hold I have on her as a result. You know nothing, Tim. Whatever. You better get your act together next time or else Or else what? A guy pops out of nowhere and suddenly puts his hand on my shoulder in a warning kind of way. Is this guy troubling you, Cass? I shake his hands off me and walk away without as much as looking back. Next time, I'll show you who's the best between us. You'd better prepare yourself. I think she said something back to me, but I didn't hear or care about it. I was too extremely infuriated by her detachment attitude to see or hear anything going on around me. People were probably looking at me with disdain in their eyes, but it didn't matter to me. Yeah, dude, I would too if I saw this shit happen. As if everything I'd been doing all this time had no value, as if I was the only one who saw us as rivals. But things should be good now. By confronting her the way I did, I'd given her the little push she needs. Her pride will come out on top in the end, I'm sure of it. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose her. I'll show her. Just you wait, Cassandra. How stupid I was, not understanding that the person I thought I hated the most was paradoxically the one I needed the most. Is this what we call irony? In the past 3 years, I've studied a multitude of subjects, believing with an almost blind faith that I was better than everybody else, but here I was completely clueless about the most basic things going on in my life. It was only after the next exam week that I finally realized how disordered my perception of the world really was. I was so sure of myself. Oh, for that I was. Nothing else occupied my mind during all those weeks of self-study in cram school. I'll beat her fair and square. The last time wasn't a fair fight. She had purposely neglected her studies for something as stupid as love, but now it would be different. I guess it's because of this obsession with my studies and my desire to beat her that I failed to notice something so crucial. Failed to notice what really mattered. I stood in front of the piece of paper which numbered off the top students in our year, frankly searching like a madman for something that definitely was supposed to be there. Not there, not even here. What the fuck? It's impossible. She must have changed her name or something. This can't be happening, but no matter how many times I scanned the damn thing, I was hit with the same conclusion over and over again. She wasn't here. She was not in the top 50. I thought that maybe, as ridiculous as it may sound, she had skipped a year somehow, even though we were in the middle of the semester, but she wasn't in the top list for the third year either. How could that be? I went directly to those in charge of the stupid list. They had probably made a mistake. Incompetent as they were, that was where I heard something preposterous, something so fucking outrageous that I had no other choice but to snap back at them, insulting the lot of them. They told me, and this is the matter of factly tone there is, that she had quit school a month and a half ago. A month and a fucking half! So where I was uselessly, obsessively, and foolishly trying the best I could to surpass this girl that I had thought was my equal, she was messing around, probably with boys or whatever, and didn't even think of me worth the effort. She probably thought she could already have everything in life since she was so fucking good at everything, and she simply left me there struggling like a fool, probably for her own amusement. I didn't want to hear it, I didn't want to believe it, but it was the truth nonetheless. I was too fucking blind to see it coming. Fuck! That bitch, she won even when I was sure of winning. The hopeless feeling that I was so eager to make her feel was now stuck within me. I would never be able to get rid of it. She was no longer someone I could go head to head with since she had given up entirely. I asked about the reason of her sudden departure, and they told me it was of a personal matter, that it probably had something to do with her family or whatever lie she had fed them, but I knew it wasn't. Fucking bullshit. It was probably her way of getting back at me, knowing that I was finally going to beat her. She just up and quit to make sure it never happened. That's when I had a revelation. What if I decided to wait for her another year? Yeah, that was a great idea. All I needed to do was purposely fail, and then I remembered that I had just topped second place, and I was pretty set. Fuck, I can't stop. his personality is rubbing off on me. I had just topped second place, and I was pretty much set on passing. Who is the top? This was over. I had lost the one thing that kept me going. For a time, I seriously wondered what I was going to do with my life now that she was gone. I realized that I had nothing pushing me forward, but soon it really didn't matter all that much anymore, since I had already lived this lifestyle for the most part of my youth. Stopping was no longer, oops, my bad guys. Stopping was no longer, let me put this on silent actually. Stopping was no longer an option for me. So I just continued studying the best I could, with this sense of emptiness as my sole source of motivation. High school came to an end extremely quickly. On the last day of school, when I decided to glance around me, all I saw was happy faces. Everyone had someone to talk to, friends and family members, and they all looked proud of themselves for some reason. Some even had boyfriends and girlfriends by their side, holding hands and kissing as though the world no longer had any secrets for them. I was the best of my class and one of the best in the whole school, and yet I knew nothing, I felt nothing. I was already set to go on one of the top universities of the country. I could see my promising future without anyone's telling me. Still, I had lost something by becoming who I was. I know that much. But since I wasn't one of them, I didn't know what it was that I had lost. Jesus Christ, what is going on? That was all chapter 1? What is this? A group date, maybe? Oh shit, hold on, let me save. Well, why is it? Yo, this is like built like Doki Doki Literature Club. Is it made by the same company, I wonder? Alright. 2 years. It took 2 years before I saw her again. But by that time, I was well underway on my major, and I was starting to get used to a lifestyle of the university. I was living on my own, in a gloomy one-room apartment for less than a year. I had zero passion and only knew how to do one thing correctly, which, of course, was studying, as if I was the target of a curse a long time ago. I really didn't know why I was so into it, yet a lot of doors would probably open up. Yeah, a lot of doors would probably open up to me in the future, but what if I didn't want to enter any of them? I had no motivation to climb up the ladder, and I certainly wouldn't have known what to do with all the money being thrown at me. But I guess that even this type of attitude can attract some people. It was as if they knew that talking to you would inevitably boost their own self-esteem. That was how I made my first friend since have I ever had a friend before? Not that I saw him as a friend in the first place. He was in most of my classes during high school and took that as an opportunity to start socializing with me during our courses together. I went with the flow, finding my own amusement in his somewhat carefree demeanor. That's when one day out of nowhere he decided to invite me to this, I don't remember how to pronounce it. I can't call it a date. So a group date maybe? Fuck it. Anyway, it was this thing where a group of men and women of the same age and logically in equal numbers meet each other for almost the first time in an attempt to find love. Blind date, I guess? A blind group date? Is that what he's trying to say? It was obviously a cheap excuse to try to find somebody to empty your load into, but whatever. At the point I was at, it didn't matter all that much. Trying to fuck someone was, as most men in my age, well, any age really, one of my. Wait, hold on. Whoa, hold on. At the point I was at, it didn't matter all that much. Trying to fuck someone. Oh, he's literally talking about sex. One of my. It was one of your. It was your priority? Well, I mean, I guess. Some guy. Okay, I guess. Some people, actually. Okay, one of my priorities. Even though pretty much inaccessible. I didn't go out of my way to try and have sex, but that's probably the reason why I had no sex life. So I accepted. He was kind of odd, though. He said to me, "You won't regret it, Tim. I even have a special surprise waiting for you." Then laughed like an imbecile. He was an imbecile. It was only when I entered the bar where we were meeting and I understood the full meaning of his words. Wait, what did he say? How do I go back? How do I go back? Let me go to the log. What's the log? You won't regret it. I have a surprise waiting for you. Okay, a surprise. There were 7 people at the table already waiting for me, which means we were at a party of 8, 4 boys and 4 girls. Oh no. I'm scared for what this guy looks like or girl looks like over here because of this head shape, and then this is like a mullet. I don't know. Wait, this is a girl. Oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, with a guy. Oh no, I didn't even read the bottom. I'm so sorry. 2 of those girls was completely unattractive. That or with a big chin and weird hairstyle. Yeah, this is the one I can tell. The other one was already almost in bed with the other one was already almost in bed with the big mouth guy, so those 3 were unfuckable. That was my first thought upon entering the bar. Well, that girl, are they gonna show us them? Because I kind of want to know what they look like. My second thought wasn't dissimilar to the previous one, but it was still very surprising indeed. It was her. She was the. Oh no, they're not gonna show us. No. I want to see this other character. She was casually talking with another dude, a sports-like type. Another one who's unfuckable, but of course not for the same reasons. Oh shit! Hold on. How long has this been going? Hold on. Let me save again. Yes. Let me check. Oh shit! This video is okay. Okay, guys. Hi. This is gonna end right here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna stop right here, and I will see you in part 2 because this video is gonna get way too long. This is gonna get way too long. Okay. Okay.